Hi everybody, it's me, Ghost Critic. It's a balmy summer's day here in the UK. The sun has finally found us. And I'm inside here with you to review some comics. From my pull list for this week, we've got 6 comics to review. Nothing amazing came out that I picked up this week, but none of it was particularly bad, and that's surprising because the first issue I'm going to review is Batman the Dark Knight, issue 9, continuing with our Night of the Owls crossover event in the Bat universe. And the great thing about this issue is we're now seeing a follow-on to the story, but from the viewpoint of one of the Talons. These are one of the assassins for the Court of Owls that are out there killing off all these kind of major people within Gotham City to bring it down and make it their own. And we have this particular Talon, Nameless, who is attempting to kill Lincoln Marsh, who is currently running for mayor. He's a candidate for mayor of Gotham. But this Talon is quite old. Seen better days, isn't as fast as they used to be, and doesn't do that great a job. Now, the great thing, like I said, is that instead of, it's Batman or one of the other characters going in there fighting a Talon, and it's seen from their perspective, not only are you hearing the thoughts and words of one of these Talons, but you get a lot of history about the character. You get Halley's circus, and where he was kind of initiated, where he was chosen to be a Talon, and how he came to be, and how he was initially put to rest to be resurrected later on. I was very surprised. No, I've not had that great a time with Batman the Dark Knight, but this was definitely a thumbs up for me. If you haven't been getting Batman the Dark Knight, I wouldn't bother picking up the last issues, but this is definitely worth a pickup if you're considering which chapters of the Night of the Owls to pick. This wouldn't be a bad idea. Ultimate Comics X-Men issue 12, and this is the last issue for Nick Spencer as he ends his tenure on X-Men, to make way in the next issue for Brian Wood, which I'm a little bit excited about. I like Brian Wood. Nick Spencer just hasn't felt right with the X-Men. I don't know whether it's been, people pulling strings in the background saying this is what we want you to write, or he just doesn't grasp the Ultimate X-Men universe, and I haven't felt entirely comfortable with him on here. I love him writing Morning Glories. I will praise him to the heights with that. This, no. So I'm interested to see what Brian Wood's going to do with a follow-up to this. As for this issue, it was actually quite interesting. We completely moved away from the whole Camp Angel and the mutant revolution that we had from last issue, and all like the Sentinel Nimrods coming down, the Master Mold being built. That not even mentioned. We have this suited figure, and he's walking into a mental health institution where the mutant Havoc is being not held there, but he's been institutionalized because he's gone a bit crazy. And so we have this suited figure. We don't see his face. But he moves through, and everywhere he goes, as he passes down these corridors, people die, they get old, and they just fall on the floor or pass out, but they do age greatly. So he's there to get Havoc. I can give you that, it's a he. And then we come on to the Ultimate X-Men's version of Roxxon, this industrial sinister empire, and they have obviously got this suited figure to get Havoc for them. And there's mentions of, you know, that Havoc might know where the other four are, and as you read the book and you get to the end and you think back to what you've just read, and you think, what come 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and where does that lead you to? Of course, it's Apocalypse. The suited guy, who do you normally find knocking around with Apocalypse? It's certainly a character that was certainly underplayed in the original Ultimate X-Men universe. I thought maybe coming forward a bit and being more of a player to come in the next issues. I think this is more of a setup for much further on in the future, but it was still a good issue. Nothing fantastic, like I've said about what I'll say about most of the comics. They weren't stellar, but they were readable. They were entertaining enough, and they're moving a plot forward. If you like Ultimate X-Men, you'll probably get a kick out of this, but I'm more excited to see what Brian Wood can do next month. Issue 9, Justice League Dark, and we've got new members on the team. Yes, we saw Shade disappear in the last story arc. Madame Xanadu's taken a bit of a back seat, and it's John Constantine, of all people, who is in charge of our disparate team members. We've now got Andrew Bennett from iVampire fulfilling that favour for John Constantine as part of the team, and Black Orchid, I think, is she some sort of mutant type? She can clearly change her appearance. She can make herself look like other people, amongst other things. She is actually an agent of Argus, which is Steve Trevor? Yeah, Steve Trevor's lot over in Justice League. And it is Steve Trevor that gets John Constantine into all this trouble here, as our team face Lord Faust. He has got much more power than he usually has. And why is this? Well, you have to read the comic and you'll find out right at the end. But when they mentioned 4 words, I got a little bit excited. Yes. This has actually got a little bit of promise. It's interesting that we've already lost 2 quite main characters from the first kind of story arc and a bit. With Madame Xanadu, while she does make an appearance, she certainly doesn't take a big role in this adventure. And Shade really had a big part in the last story arc, but here didn't seem, whether they just didn't or want to use him for something else. Maybe they've got something in line for him later on, but it just seemed a bit throwaway. He wasn't developed enough, which is a shame. But hey, we've got this instead. They make an interesting team, and they're, as always, given the dysfunctionality of a lot of the characters and their mistrust of each other, it certainly makes for an interesting dynamic in the story. The artwork I actually like. Mikhail Janin. It's, how do I describe it? It's got that kind of painted feel, not so cartoony, more realistic, which is nice to see. I'm very excited with this now. It kind of went up a notch because there is a lot going on here. There's a lot of action, there's a lot of information to take in. I liked the interconnecting of Justice League and Justice League Dark. and Steve Trevor being able to manipulate John Constantine so easily, to be fair. The only thing that I'm kind of like about is John Constantine. I mean, of all the characters here, they have been in, or at least had their own series within a Vertigo title. And, you know, Vertigo titles can obviously go that much further, whether it's in language, in subject content. But John Constantine in this, he's got the funny lines, he's got the attitude, but it's like Diet Coke, it's like Sprite Light, or whatever you want to call it. It's a very watered down version. And you know, when you read Hellblazer, John Constantine, you expect, you know, the visceral, and here it's a bit just like spitting on the floor. Still, I really like Justice League Dark. It's got all my favourite things in. Magic, all these great characters. Love it. Fables! Issue 117. And Fables is, I cannot believe this, celebrating its 10 years. And, Fables. I love it. You know, I always say I love Fables. And I would recommend it to anybody who wants to read something that's, you know, adult themed, certainly adult themed in parts, has that kind of magical element to it, but at the same time can be incredibly serious and so cleverly written by Bill Willingham. And this is why I'm kind of not letting him off, but I'm going to take it easy on him, because I'm finding this storyline a little bit slow. I can see Willingham, you know, adding little bits that I know he's going to pick up later on. And with Fables, you really have to wait for the payoff. There's a long build-up, which, while entertaining, you just feel like, at times, like, come on, just get to the end. I want to see this all happen. And it's patience. Patience is something that you do really have to have with Fables. In this issue, Teresa is still in Toyland. She's still queen of this Discardia, where all these broken toys and these teddy bears and trains and stuffed rabbits that have got their eyes falling out, their stuffing coming apart, and she's quite hungry. There's nothing to eat in Discardia unless it's made of plastic, fur or wood or bricks. So she throws a royal tantrum, and like I said, Willingham adds little bits here. They want her to go on this adventure, but there's something they're keeping back, and there's something they've not told her yet, and that's kind of what's keeping me there. The Fables back in our kind of Fable universe, they're moving back into Fabletown after living up at the farm for so long, after having finally beaten Mr. Dark. And Darian is off to save his sister Teresa, with a few friends in tow. The imagination behind this book is the best. It is. I cannot fail Willingham for that. I can't fault him whatsoever. It's just the pacing. It needs to speed up a little bit. But still, I would highly recommend anyone start picking up Fables. And with their 10-year anniversary here, they're reprinting all their trades in nice fancy new covers. So if you were ever interested in Fables and wanted to start off, now would be a really good time. Amazing Spider-Man 686, Ends of the Earth. Can this just end? I'm sorry. I don't get why people are getting excited about this. It's nothing new. It's kind of regurgitated from so many previous storylines. It's, you know, it's the baddie. It's your big nemesis, Dr. Ock, pretending he's good when we all know he's actually going to turn out bad. And yes, he's turned out bad. And there's fight scenes plenty. Spider-Man takes down another of the Sinister Six. They get a very unlikely ally to join their troops. I'm just not excited by it. I'm sorry. It's like, I don't know. It's not bad. I've just read it all before. There's nothing new here. I'm so surprised at Dan Slott on this. The artwork by Camuncoli, it is still here. Oh no, it's Caselli, sorry. The artwork by Caselli is still really good. I'm just not digging it. This was meant to be 50 years of Spider-Man and they gave us this. I don't know what to say. Finally, issue 37 of The Unwritten. It's not my pick of the week, but of all of them, it's probably the one that I was interested in the most. It starts a new storyline called The Wound, and if anyone has been reading this from the very start, this now picks up going way back from probably the first story arc with the Church of Tommy, this religious cult that appeared, and they obviously all like the Tommy books, but there's certainly a very sinister edge to this cult. People are disappearing after going to meetings. So our main character that we've been brought into now is called Sandra Patterson, and I think she's a detective, or she's at least a policewoman or a cop, something of that nature, and she's going to go undercover to infiltrate one of the meetings and find out where all these people are disappearing to. As always, Mike Carey mixes so much into The Unwritten, from just like the normal comic book storytelling that is predominantly through the issue, to the TV story narration from a newscaster and her anchor, to internet pages where there's articles about the church. It's so clever, it's so rich, it's so imaginative. I did just wonder where this title was going to go to after, you know, the big Pullman Tommy fight, magic stake off. Stake off? What am I saying? It's hot, people. It's hot. And so is this comic, and you should certainly be picking it up. That's it for this week. Thank you for watching. As always, subscribe up there, give a thumb down there, and comment all the way down there. I'll try and reply to as much as I can. Just to say, if you've not been watching our comic book community Watchmen review series, where a whole load of us are reviewing an issue of Watchmen each, then please click on the link that I'm going to put down in the description box, which will lead you to my Watchmen playlist. Everyone's doing a great job, and I'm proud of you all. I'm so excited to see what everyone else has got to come. We're only on, I think we're on issue 5. We just had 5 from Jay's Comics. Go and support these guys. They're doing a great job. Peace.